Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another night of Tarot with Sam. I'm your lovely host, and for those of you that are first timers, glad that you're here. If you're a returnee, super glad to see you. Hope you brought some friends. And in case anyone needs a reminder of how the readings work, I do offer collective readings during these lives, but if you would like a personal reading, you can find that in both the comment section and in the description on how to get in the queue. But just a quick review while I finish getting things all nice and tidy over here. To get your reading, it is a first pay, first read kind of a lineup. For 10 minutes, it's 15. For a single card, it is 5. If you are a Patreon, to get your discount for your $2 single card and $10 10-minute reading, don't forget to jump to your Patreon feed to get that code and make sure that you put it in the Cash App or Venmo notes so that I know that it's you. But yeah, after you send it to Cash App or Venmo, the name is in the comments and description. All you have to do afterward is comment paid with your method in the chat and you'll be in the queue. And you can make sure that you can say whether you want a general reading, love reading, career reading. Just keep in mind that I am not responsible for any choices you make afterward. I'm just the guy that delivers the message. And speaking of messages for tonight's lovely offerings, we have the handy dandy tarot deck, hence Tarot Readings with Sam. Or if you're feeling the need for something a little more gentle or a little, I guess the best way to describe it is kind of more of a direction for where to go with your energy. I do also have my Goddess deck. And if you've seen these guys on my Saturday self-care, you know that they are the sweetest cards alive. And just a quick heads up, I'll be going until 6:45 or 7 o'clock. So for 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what time zone you're in, because I know that, time zones make time a little wonky. But that all depends on how busy we get. There's that hiccup. I felt it coming. I thought it just decided to go away. Nope. But getting these cards loosey-goosey here. Oh, and if you are in or near Euclid, Ohio, on March 28th, I'll be at the Hen Mansion doing in-person readings. So if that's something that you are into, definitely make sure that you stop by there. It is looking to be a blast. Also, because I know that, sometimes public forum readings get a little intimidating for some people. I am always available for one-on-one readings. Just use the schedule link either in the channel page or send me a direct message on Facebook or Instagram, Sam C. Sear, and we'll get you hooked up. And those are available in person and through virtual, so we can meet on Facebook chat, we can meet on Google Meet, So it's not necessarily limited to just people in my locality. But I guess until we get some people, don't mind me, it's been a very active day, so definitely feeling my body a little more than I typically would. But let's do a quick... Actually, you know what? Because this has been going very interesting. This reading will be for the 5th person to either join the live or watch the replay. And as far as what portion of your life we'll be giving you a reading for, we're going to see what's kicking your goals. Just grabbed a random split in the deck here. So it definitely looks like for whoever our fifth person to join the live or watch the replay is, you've got some issues with reaching some of your material goals. Let's see what's going on there and how we can help you turn it around. And by the way, number 5, if you happen to catch this reading and it happens to really resonate with you, don't be afraid to comment 5. But let's see what's going on that you're not really hitting the goals that you're wanting to. And how do we fix it? Oh, goodness, we got everything going everywhere. And we've got quite a story for you, number 5. So just bear with me while I get these cards set up. So as far as what you've got going on that's kind of kicking your tail on why you're not reaching those goals, a lot of fear about being a leader, about being enough. And I will grant you that a lot of these fears are from external things. You've probably heard so many put downs throughout your life that it became a permanent loop in your head. I don't blame you. That really would screw with anybody's idea on whether or not they're enough, that they're a good enough leader, a good enough communicator. I understand entirely, but let's see how we can't fix that fear and actually turn it into something that can either be totally thrown in the trash or worked with. Because between these two that popped out first and this lovely stack of sideways, you got a lot of choices and a lot of things that, quite honestly, it's going to be on you on which way you choose to go. But as far as the things that I can tell you, and the reason why I can definitely say you're enough. You have a great plan and you have the potential to reach those goals, and you just are a genuinely good person. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You have the probability and you have the personality. But the things that are kind of kicking you in the tail here, and we'll just go over them one by one. The first thing you've got is our sideways Queen of Coins here. Okay, this is telling me that for the most part you do a great job managing and planning, but the problem is that all too often you take on too many responsibilities, which makes you think that you're not good enough, which makes you get in your head and get all the thoughts. And I'm hoping that lag is not going to be a constant thing, but if it didn't affect you, I do apologize for the weird question about the lagging. If it did, I do apologize. I heard earlier today that my internet service was being a little wonky. I was just hoping that by now it'd be, since a few hours later, done. But number 5, back to you. You're doing a great job. Just kind of think about how much you're bringing on that causes that stress and that overload. Because, ironically, with our next card, you already know that you already try and take on too much. You already know that you, quite honestly, you've got limits. Last I checked, you were human too. At least from what I'm picking up, I'm pretty sure you're human. Pretty sure. I feel pretty confident about it. But you keep on thinking that, yes, I can totally do this. You keep on forgetting your limits. You keep on forgetting the things that you've already learned from how much you can take on before you crack, and cause that fun little ear loop of fear and just thinking that you can't do anything. And you've also got a problem where you know that when you succeed, there's still work to do. You know this. But on occasion, you kind of ride that high of getting stuff done a little too hard, that suddenly, where you were either on top of it all or falling, honestly, leaps and bounds forward or staying finally on track, you end up building yourself a pile again, which, hey, definitely, some of you have heard me say before, celebrate your wins, because we don't get nearly enough of them in this life anymore. but you still got to remember to do the work. And another thing that you got to kind of look on, other than just, watching how much you're taking on, remembering you have limits, remembering to kind of find a fine balance between celebrating your wins and over celebrating. You've also got to remember that there will always be choices, whether they are absolutely fabulous choices and you love each and every one, or if the choices kind of suck or you feel like you don't have any. You always have choices. There's always a option out there for you. You just got to stop thinking that they're all bad. Sometimes a cigar really is just a cigar. And last but not least, along with, remembering that you do have limits, remembering that you are able to manage everything, you also need to remember this lovely lady right here is also a part of you. Our Queen of Swords is, whenever she's upright anyway, a beautiful and wonderful leader that balances her emotions and her logic. And she's able to make sure that she's able to nurture while not getting too deep in her field. She's a problem solver. She can calculate all the probabilities of A, B, and C and still let you know the best way to go. That is still part of you. The only drawback is that you still occasionally, I want to say that you have a problem where you do a lot of masking. And because of that masking, that's affecting your ability to actually know that you can problem solve, because you keep on having this face of, I'm fine, I can do it. This is no. Start being willing to say, you know what? I'm taking on too much. I need help. So number 5, I do hope that reading helped you out. And more importantly, I do hope that you're going to listen to it, because you keep on trying and you're going to end up burnt out before you're even halfway through the year. So number 5, if you would like to dive a little deeper into that reading, definitely feel free to get a hold of me. And we'll see how we can help you. Whew, and that was a lot of talking. Whew. But while we're just sitting and chilling and waiting for more messages to pop in my head, I would like everyone to take a moment sometime the next 2 weeks and go up to someone who has helped you out amazingly, whether it's a friend, a family member, whatever, and just tell them that you appreciate everything that they've done for you, whether it's super big things or a bunch of little things. Because over the last few weeks, I have realized that I've got friends I don't deserve. Don't get me wrong, they're absolutely fabulous people, but the reason I don't deserve them is because they've been helping me out so much without hesitation. And just knowing how lucky I am to have people like that, and knowing that a lot of times we all forget to show appreciation to those people. I think it'd be just a really nice thing to just go to one of them and say, you know what, I appreciate everything you've done for me, past and present. And that alone will not only let them know that, yes, you really do appreciate them, but it could turn around their day. It could turn their bad day into a fabulous one. Or it could even just, give them a little peace of mind on whether or not they've ever worried. Because let's face it, we all get into those weird little spirals in our head where we don't know. And that actually also kind of goes along with our person number 5, where they keep on taking on so much. I'm kind of wondering if that's not part of your thing. Just questioning if you're doing everything to feel appreciated, Or are you doing it all because you're afraid of letting anybody down? But definitely whoever you've got in your life that does a lot for you or a bunch of little things, make sure you tell them sometime in the next week or two that you appreciate them, because giving light is just as important as being light. Though personally, I'm a firm believer I'm a gray area myself, but that's just because I look at my faults and say, "Hi, buddy." My shadow self and I have been finding an odd friendship between ourselves, so all right. Let's see, what other readings can we find a message for? Actually, you know what? Because Mercury is going in direct. Sorry, I think my hair was tickling my nose or something, but with Mercury going direct in finally about a week and a half, let's see if we've been actually making sure that we've been learning the lessons from this retrograde, or if we might want to make sure that we do any cramming that might need done before the end of it, or else, I'm not even kidding, I've seen it happen before. All the issues circle right back around the next retrograde. Let's try to avoid that. So as our collective, have we learned the lessons from this retrograde? All right, I guess we get a whole story. So this is actually rather interesting. I'm actually going to show you guys all of these right off the get-go, and then we'll go over them. So as you can see, we've got 3 upright and 2 reverse. That tells me that for the most part, actually, we've been doing great. That's awesome. Good job, guys. But here's what we got cooking, all right? So we've definitely been learning to look a little deeper than just the surface of what is going on around us and within us. So great job, because trying to actually see things that clearly isn't always easy. There's always distractions. There's always other layers that are hiding the real whatever it is. But we still have a lot of external fears that are messing with our noggins about our self-image. That's where we're kind of tripping ourselves up just a little bit here, okay? We're doing great on seeing things clearly, but we're still letting too many things distract us from being able to see ourselves as we really are, from actually realizing that we do have good points, that we do have room to grow. You're not stuck where you are. But once you figure that mess out, I know that this is a reverse, but actually in this case, reverse 5 of coins is a beautiful thing, because once you get a better clue about how you look at yourself and a better clue on your real image, you're going to start seeing abundance, whether it's financial, spiritual. You're going to start seeing things around you growing, because really, that's all that fear is holding back, is your ability to find growth, to be able to grow as a person, as a business owner, as a parent, as a sibling. You've got so much room to grow once you get out of that fear cycle and all those distractions in your head. You're going to see abundance. And also, you're going to find that a lot of problems that you've been just ramming your head into, you're going to see the solutions. You're going to see things actually making sense without shutting off your emotions or getting overwhelmed by them. So I would definitely say if that's all we got to work on between now and before retrograde goes direct, why not? Dare I say, after this live, make sure that you kind of sit yourself down with a quick meditation. And actually, I might build one before direct is out just in case anyone needs a hand. But do a meditation to see yourself as a whole. And more importantly, notice the good points just as much, if not more, than your bad points. Because if you missed my shadow work and gratitude series, definitely check it out. There's a whole playlist for it. But it's pretty much all about how people are not always light and they're not always dark. We are both. And if you're able to make friends with your shadow portion of yourself or even find a way to eradicate it, depending on the case, if you're able to make friends with it, quite honestly, that makes you even more powerful. Because that makes it so that you know that, yes, you have those faults, but you've learned how to turn those faults into a strength, which only adds to your power. And if it's a shadow portion of yourself to eradicate, there are cases where, there is a shadow portion that needs gone. You're still just that much stronger because you overcame it. You didn't let it hold you down or keep you back anymore. So if I were you, there's never a wrong time to do shadow work. It's an all-year thing. But just a quick reminder, I'll only be live for another 25 or so minutes. I will be definitely doing a couple more readings because a couple of these are definitely coming out interesting. But if you would like a reading, definitely make sure that you follow the instructions either in the comments or the description. Oh, and if that collective read helped you out at all, feel free to comment shadow work because honestly, you are not alone. I'm willing to bet that there's at least, just in your neighborhood, not even in your city, just in your neighborhood, that feels the same way you do. I tell you what, I've never had seasonal allergies in my life, but this year's kind of hitting me. Much like that hiccup earlier, I got a sneeze that can't decide if it wants to come out or go away. But also with Mercury going direct very, very soon, my fellow witchy friends and fellow pagans, if you are planning on celebrating Ostara, I know that we did one last week, but I'm kind of curious on if there are other aspects to see where we can't find balance in our lives this spring equinox. Let's see what we've got. Oh. My jumpers love to jump. I kind of want a clarifier for that. Okay, I guess we get a whole stack of them. All right, so the thing that we need to try and find balance in is apparently our lack of momentum, our lack of motivation. And that actually makes sense to a degree to me, but I want to make sure I was definitely on the right track because what this told me was we need to find a balance between work and rest, between making that plan and just winging it. Or sometimes just knowing when we need to take a step away and just let the universe do its thing. And for the most part, I was right. Because, like I said, we've got a few to help break that down. And my first clue that I was pretty much right where I thought I was because we have a sun card and a reverse page of coins. So we needed to find the balance between lack of opportunities and lack of being able to move forward in our material growth, while at the same time appreciating what we have, appreciating that we do have abundance, just not necessarily in the way that we think of abundance. Because new possibilities are always on the horizon. And sometimes that standstill, if we want that new opportunity, we need to curb our impatience that is blurring the lines of where we need to go. So, one of the things to kind of start thinking about between now and the spring equinox is definitely kind of fine tune what you define as lack of opportunity and what you define as abundance, so that that new opportunity can happen without you being impatient and rash and missing details. That's actually rather exciting. And quite honestly, I might be joining you guys on that one. Because typically for equinoxes, I do try to find even just one thing to try and rebalance myself, recalibrate, whether it's my work life, my home life, all the above life. I do think that sometimes just genuinely, sometimes just going back to the drawing board and asking myself, how do I define abundance and how do I define opportunity? Sometimes that might actually lead to finding a new balance that is actually more aligned with my entire life. Solstices, though, I'm not gonna lie, either I am enjoying the sunlight in every possible way I can, hence summer solstice, or for the winter solstice, I try to make it really just a chill day with family. So just because I don't live in ancient times don't mean I don't still try to honor them. But I think we're going to swap out the tarot deck for the oracle deck. And we're gonna, after I get these cards a little loosey-goosey again, let's take a peek at what energy we need to embody or unblock to help our weekend on a good note, because I did do that this morning, but let's face it, a lot of our choices and a lot of choices made for us on occasion can change our entire trajectory, so that sometimes instead of needing to go one way, we need to just go a little to the left, a little to the right, or maybe 10 degrees up or 30 degrees down. So what energy do we need to embody or unblock to ensure that when we get to the weekend or whenever your next day off is, you can enjoy it? What do we got to do? Okay, so number 5, you are seeming to definitely still be diving in, or we've got a lot of people with this issue. We have Lady Ishtar, and her message is love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. And because I'm willing to bet that we've got more than a few hundred people pleasers within our area, honestly, sometimes that really is the best thing that you can absolutely do for yourself. And number 5, I imagine you are definitely in this group where, you know what, sometimes you, as much as it sucks, sometimes you do have to say no. If you are taking on too much, or you know what, if you've just had a day, and you know what I'm talking about, if you've just had a day, it's okay to say, you know what, I can't handle any more today. I'm going to go rest. That's okay. If you need a few minutes to yourself before you are able to jump back on your responsibilities, do it. As long as there's not an emergency going on and everyone is safe, take that 10 minutes, regroup. And honestly, it's not a bad idea to occasionally love yourself enough to do so. Because you probably give and give and give all day, but you're not saying where you can't pour from an empty cup. You got to refill it sometime, somewhere. So before the week is out, so that you can have a good weekend, love yourself enough to say no. Put up that gentle but firm boundary that sometimes you just need to recharge. It does happen, and it is an okay thing to do. Mm. Whew. Mm. Don't mind me, this rainy weather, it's a little hypnotizing today. Just a little bit. But just a quick reminder, I'll only be live for another 15 minutes. So if you would like a reading, definitely get yourself in the queue. If you have a suggestion for a collective, go ahead and put it in the comments, just because, you know what? I know what's rattling around in here, but sometimes I don't know what it is that might be worrying the group, because I'm only a little part of our hive mind, if you will. But I think for this final collective read, we're going to do something that I actually do enjoy doing a lot more often, but I haven't done in a while. I'm going to grab an aspect of our life with the tarot deck, and with the oracle deck, I'm going to see what energies we need that we need to either embody or unblock to either keep it on that trajectory or change the trajectory to a more favorable one. So what aspect? All right. So it looks like the aspect that we're going to be looking at with my Goddess Oracle deck is our debts. Whether these are material debts, karmic debts, emotional debts, wherever you feel like you're not giving enough or making sure that things are returned often enough. Let's see what you need to either embody or unblock to wipe away some of those debts. And again, these debts could be karmic, they could be material, they could be emotional. Let's see. All right, so we've got 2 to unblock and one to embody. For the things that we need to unblock, we have a reverse Mary Magdalene and a reverse Isis. Typically, Mary Magdalene is love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearances may be. And for Isis, this situation involves your past life memories. What does this mean? I'm glad you asked. In this case, you need to learn to appreciate where you are in your life. You need to learn to appreciate that sometimes the situation is what it is. I'm not saying you gotta like it. I'm just saying you gotta kind of just say, you know what? Yeah, this sucks, but it's tolerable. Yeah, this person drives you up the wall, but if they're necessary, learn to work with your issues, learn to work with the things that are driving you bonkers instead of against them. And stop letting your past hold you back. Because in this case, it's not necessarily your past life soul memories so much than past life that you have lived. Because in your life, you have been a lot of different people. You've been a child, you've been a teenager. Now you're probably a parent. You might be a best friend, you might be a mentor. You are not the same person today that you were even 6 months ago. You've grown, you've changed. But there's parts of your past self, probably a few past selves back, that you haven't let go of, that you're still letting dictate your decisions. It's time to square with those and let them stay in the past where they're supposed to be. Don't forget the lessons, but stop beating yourself up or reliving the glory days if that's your kick, because if that is, then no wonder you're stuck. The glory days happen. Remember them fondly, but you're here now. Your present is flying past you because you won't let it go. But as far as what to embody to help you out with those things, you have Lady Sekhmet. You are stronger than you think you are, and your strength assures a happy outcome. So while you may feel like you can't let go of the past parts of you that it's time to just let go. You're not that person anymore, good, bad, or indifferent. You're not them anymore. And learning to not necessarily like, but learn to just be okay with where you're at right now, with the people, with your situation. Learning to be okay with it and letting go of the person that you were is what's going to help you dig yourself out of whatever debts you still owe. It'll start changing things, believe it or not. And actually, just to prove me wrong, I dare you to do it. And then come back to me in 6 months and tell me if nothing's changed. And if you're willing to take that challenge, comment 6 months. I'll be sure to set a reminder. But for our last card drawing for the night, before I let you guys go, I do want to appreciate everyone that has either stuck around for the live or is watching the replay right now. I do appreciate you. You're awesome. And to let you guys know that there is a Friday the 13th sale going on. The sale is for this Friday the 13th and for Saturday the 14th. All 15-minute readings that are typically $25 will be $13. Make sure you either use the scheduler link and definitely send a message directly after saying Friday 13th sale to get your discount. Or you can send me a message on Facebook or Instagram to get your time set up as well. Just like I said, mention Friday the 13th to make sure that you get your discount. But for our final card reading for the night, I'm going to be pulling a single card for a opportunity for us to get comfy with our journals and kind of do a little bit of self-reflection. I'm a huge believer that, you know what, sometimes a little self-reflection is one of the most important things we can do to not only love ourselves, but to understand ourselves better, to be better. So let's get one of the goddess cards to see what we're going to be journaling tonight. I really hope that jump up and flip got caught on here because that was actually kind of cool. But we have a reverse Pele, and typically her message is be honest with yourself. What is your heart's true desire? So, with her being reversed, here's your journal prompt for the night to kind of help you get a little started. And that prompt is what are you letting either cloud your vision from seeing what you really want out of life, or what's holding you back? Because if you know your heart's true desire, excellent. You're leaps and bounds ahead of many of us. But what's holding you back from going after it? What is it that might actually be able to be worked with that is keeping you from going after that dream or that goal? And if you don't know your heart's true desire, tonight's a good night to ask yourself, what are all of my distractions keeping me from seeing what my real goals in this life really are? Sit down with yourself. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are some things that you absolutely want before you have to punch your ticket? And what's keeping you from them? If it helps at all, I definitely encourage a playlist of typically just some instrumental music for journaling. And if you need a decent band idea, I'm not going to lie, my younger daughter and I have been listening to Two Steps from Hell. Amazing orchestra type band. Oh my God. Let me tell you, the ideas that it generates in my brain just from one is amazing. And don't let the name fool you. I swear they are not in any way, shape, fashion, or form evil that I've been able to find so far. But it's a pretty cool name. But until next week, for the next live, have a great week. And don't forget to catch my daily single card readings in the morning at 8:30 and my middays at 1:30. The 1:30 is occasionally a fun witchy tip or even just an observation, thought-provoking, if you will. But also, I've been doing a lot of meditation videos and other fun things. Subscribe. You don't want to miss any of the fun. But until later on, have a fabulous day, and I will see all of you again later on.